Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video. Today we're going to look at the Rainbow Bardock kind of archetype that comes out of the anniversary in just a couple of days. It's a really interesting archetype, and I really like it. It is, if I was to kind of wrap it up, it's a deck with a really high skill cap, and I'm not sure yet if it's worth that skill cap, if you play it perfectly. Are you still doing well with the deck or not? But it's definitely a lot of fun to play, and additionally, kind of build around, and that's kind of what I've been doing the last couple days. I played it on my stream, and it went okay. It's still kind of, I don't know, it's going to be really tough to find the exact, I'd say, ratio for the deck if you like it, but I know a lot of people like to kind of grind matches, play the deck a lot, kind of figure out what makes it tick and not. So I've got two lists today. I'd say they're both okay ideas, and we'll kind of walk through my process with it. But in general, I think this is definitely a deck that you'd have to love for a long time just to get good at it, just because it's very particular. You have to know your outs, you have to know how the deck plays specifically, and it does a lot. It's just a weird archetype, more or less, even though it's kind of really open-ended in another spot too. So quickly talking about the leader, it is a Bardock. It is a 5k leader. It has a permanent reduce the combo cost by 1 and negate the energy exhaust skill of all black multicolored battle cards with SS4 in their card names in all of your areas. So all of these guys are pretty much their black and whatever color else, and they're all these are all first for the game as well. They all have energy exhaust, and they're just 5k combos. So in this leader, obviously you get to get that point, and they all have these cool effects, and some of them have effects that when you play some energy, which is really nice. And then also permanent for each card color in your battle area and energy area. This gains plus 2k power up to 10k. And then also when this card attacks, look at top 5 cards of your deck. Add up to one black card that has 4 in its card name to your hand, then shuffle it, and then your awakened condition is when your life's at 3 or less, or you have 4 or more card colors in your battle area and energy area, you can draw 2 and flip this card over. So in general, I think this is kind of a neat card in that regard. There's a lot of, it's really open-ended in that way, and obviously you have all these cards to support it. And this reminds me a lot of the Agent of Destruction archetype that happened in the previous anniversary box. We kind of got the Bobbity leader, and it kind of just says, hey, let's suspend all these game mechanics like energy exhaust and everything else, and it just all works, as a big package just under this leader kind of thing. And then on the Awakened side, same thing with the reduction of combo costs and energy exhaust, and then it has an auto. When this card attacks, resolve the effects according to the number of non-black cards present among black multicolored cards in your battle area and energy area, which is kind of nice. You can kind of do some cool stuff with this too, since it's battle area and energy area too. So you can get if you get the 4th color out in your battle area early, you get some cool stuff. It has 2 colors, so you can get, if you have 4 colors, you have to have 1 of each of the black and other color things, just because it says specifically non-black presence among your black multicolored cards, which is kind of wonky. But it does, so if you have 4, you get all these effects essentially. But for 2+ colors, this gains plus 5k power for the battle, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode, and then 3+ colors at the end of the turn, switch up to 1 of your black multicolor energies to active mode, and then 4+ colors, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's using cards, remove a marker from it. In general, if this guy just had this inherently, it'd be good, and it's not terrible to get to these restrictions. Obviously, you can't get the draw 1 until turn 4 anyways, so that's kind of weird. But you don't have to awaken this as soon as possible either. It's just kind of how you feel like it. And when I start playing with this deck and kind of building decks for it, the big thing, I'll just go through my thought process and kind of how I arrived at this deck. So first, this card's pretty good in the list. It has a choose 1 multicolor. Actually, let me go through these cards actually real quick first. So there's pretty much all of them have a 2-drop and then a 3-drop version, except for a green, which has 2 2-drops. And all of them kind of have these effects. So the yellow ones, I don't know what the best way to go. Let's just go through all the regular 2-drops. So this is a 16k critical, and then if you have a Bardock Xeno and you have a black multicolored card in your other energy other than this card, when this card in your hand is played or placed in your energy, choose up to 1 of your one card in your opponent's hand and place the bottom of their deck, then draw 1. So some weird cycle here, but I guess it would mess up Hekku in a lot of ways if they have their deck set up with the top deck, I guess. And then also when this card is played from your hand, draw 2 and discard or bottom deck 1 as well. So some cycle with this deck, which is actually sorely needed. We also have this Grohan. So If you black multicolored card in your energy on this card, when this card in your hand is played or placed in your energy area, choose up to one of your opponent's using cards 3 or more markers and remove a marker from it. And then when you just straight up play it from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with any cost of 4 or less and send it to their owner's warp. That's kind of nice. We have, I guess this guy. So this is just a counterplay. Play this card. If it's a battle card with 20k or less, it's played in your drop area from counterplay speed. Also, you have 2 or more multicolored energy. Black multicolored energy. Add a card from your life to your hand when activating this card's counter skill from your hand. If you do, reduce the activation cost of this card counter skill by 1 black, which is kind of nice. And then we also have, I guess this is the one we wanted to look at first, but if your lead card is a Bardock Xeno, you have black multicolored card in your energy. Other than this card, when this card in your hand is played or placed in your energy, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and unison cards. It gets -2k power for each for the turn for each card in your card color in your energy. So by himself, he's -4k, and then if you have another black multi-card, it's another 2k, so it gives something -6k on turn 2, and then it can go all the way up to 10k, which is super, or I guess 12k, right? No, 10k, because it's all 5 colors with it, which is kind of nice just for, essentially free for charging it and doing it when you'd want. It also reduces the cost by 1 in hand, so it becomes a 2 as long as you have a Bardock Xeno. In the active battle, once per turn, you can give something -5k. And I think I already did. Did I do the yellow one already? No. Same thing. Bardock leader, played or placed in your energy. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, any cost of 4 or less, and negate its skills for the turn, or until the end of your opponent's next turn. So if you do it on your turn, that's kind of nice. And then also, when this card is played from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode and KO if it's a skillless battle card. So that's just all these kind of have effects when you place it in your energy, which is kind of nice when you consider it with this Roshi. So choose one multicolored card in your energy, return it to the owner's hand. When you combo with this card, choose one card in your hand and place it in your energy in rest mode. So you can pretty much just cycle any of these guys and get their effects for free. So specifically, this Bardock's really good. This Goku's really good. If they're going in with like a unison and give it like Chomp a double strike, this can save you. And then also, this doesn't really do anything, I guess. It just makes them cycle a card, I guess. But that one's, I don't really know why this one exists. This is like the weird one of the bunch. I don't think it'd be terrible to either, I don't know, like search hand. I don't know. This one seems weird. But that's just kind of the idea for those. So being able to recycle them is really good. So then you have a blue card that you're wanting to run anyways. And like Bean's always just like a super good card, especially since you don't have any inherent energy on tap in this deck. So I'm like, okay, you're playing blue cards already. So what's like a really good blue-yellow arrival card, because we're running all the colors, and then I thought like Bojack's kind of good, and then you got Aegis, which is great, so you can, get this guy out and you can Aegis, and then you can untap 2 energy, which is also really good in the deck, being able to have that extra energy open. And you just have to discard a blue-yellow card or a blue card and a yellow card, so you can discard like this Goku and like this Vegeta, and you'd be fine. Even though they're also black, it doesn't matter. And then after you do that, you get to untap 2 energy, and Aegis is any energy, so it doesn't have to be a blue-yellow or blue-yellow. It can just be literally any, so you can set up your other plays. That was the whole idea. That was the whole idea when I made this list, and that's how I kind of carried it through. And so like the other thing I thought about too, and I don't think it's a really big deal, is that the Bojack, if you charge this like turn 1 and then you charge like this Gohan turn 2, you have 4 colors in your energy on turn 2, so you can awaken. But it kind of does suck that this you have to have black as part of it, so this Bojack doesn't count, so you don't get the 2. But it's what it is. So I normally didn't awaken till really late, just because you do get to search cards with the leader swing on this too, which is nice. And then you can like awaken on your opponent's turn when you want to draw 2 and be more defensive. But also turn 2, this becomes an 11k leader, which is nice. Just turn 1 is kind of low. It becomes, I guess, a 9k as long as you just charge a black and something or other from there. And so that was pretty much it. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Let's add some Goku apes because they're yellow, and we get some card draw if we need to, and just really go from there. There's just a lot of effects too. So the other dudes are like, this is a counterattack, and then you can, it's like a token negate. It can become 1 if you have 3 or more black multicolored cards in your battle or energy area. And then also, your opponent can only attack with battle cards and use the cards X amount of times, where X is equal to the number of cards in their energy. So you can make it so they can only swing once more with battle cards or unison cards, which is kind of nice. And you can only do it like for 1 energy. It's kind of it's kind of silly because like if you do the mirror match, like it doesn't do anything. And then we already talked about this, but also the Goku and Vegeta both have really nice effects. So you can, for 1 black, if your other card is a black standing card and there's a total of 3 or more energy between you and your opponent, at the end of battle in which this card was used in a combo from your hand, play this card from your drop area in rest mode. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's unison cards and negate its skills for the turn. So that can be kind of nice in there. Obviously, it'd have to be proactive, but making it so your opponent can't do plus effects is nice. And then also we have the same thing with this Vegeta. So it's the same condition here, and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with hand cost of 3 or less, return it to the owner's hand. So just like saying, like they submit their leader first, you can play this for free, and then bounce something back to their hand that they want on the field. It's only 3 or less, so it's not crazy, but it's okay. And then both of them have this effect that activate for 1 black. Send this card to your owner's warp. Choose up to 1 black multicolor card with energy cost of 2 in your hand and play it at the start of your turn. At the start of your next turn, add this card from your to your hand from your warp. So there can be some really nice plays of just like turn 1, charge something, turn 2, like on defense, you just combo with one of these guys and then they live, and then after that you use the energy to bounce, put it back into your hand, and then you can play one of your other dudes for 1, such as like this Gohan, which can pop something, or this, which lets you draw 2, discard 1, or like even this, which can not this one, even this guy. So like it's kind of cool, and then you get the cards back later, and all of this is okay. Things are okay. And then also these are also Goku's and Vegeta Xenos, so you can play this big bad boy on turn 4 moderately consistently, which is nice. It's a big triple attack blocker. You can pop like 4 cards from your opponent and just put a lot of pressure onto your opponent as well. And even if you tap out on turn 4, as long as you have the 3 plus colors in your energy, you can get the untap at the end of your turn, so you can be somewhat safe as well. And that's pretty much the list. I think it's moderately okay at what it does. Obviously, Bojack is okay. It's super tight because you want to be able to get all the colors for your stuff. And if you can't do that, you're in a tough spot. But maybe, I don't know, drawing 1 card is really good, but maybe you can kind of get red out and just focus on the blue-yellow. I don't know. I don't know. Like drawing a card's good, but maybe you can do some fun stuff without getting that card draw. Just by being able to play better cards in general. I don't know. I think there's a lot to think about for this list in a lot of ways. And then also, so these are just honestly just a bunch of other cards I've thought about too. Any kind of a rival is interesting, and the other deck is a blue-red version. I have not tested this list out at all, but looking at it, it might just be somewhat better in the sense like it's very simple at what it does. You just play a bunch of these dudes, and then afterwards, you can just say, okay, cool. Well, Cooler's a great card to just play for 1 energy for doing what it can. Obviously, you'd have to play, discard a blue and a red card to do it. But then you can do some cool combo plays, and then you also do like Hercule and Majin Buu as well. And then you can bounce the Cooler back to your hand, and then you also get some card draw, and you can give like something minus 20k and something else minus 10k, get some mill. And then this can be pressure next turn as well. So I think this is fine. And then obviously you're still playing the Master Roshi, which is like a free combo card for you. So you can just do Master Roshi and then also Bardock and just kind of go from there. I don't know. I think this is a solid package as well and something to consider. And I don't think it's terrible if you just want to go like 3 color, because I did have a version earlier where it was just yellow, green, and blue. And we use these Broly Unisons because these guys are so good. And I know I'm just putting these these cards in like every deck I can, but I think there's a reason for it, because you can play it for 1 yellow or green. So even if you just like, it's harder to brick with this because you can just do that. And then also the fact that it switches, you can make something skillless and you can pop it on the same turn, or you get a blocker out, which is nice. And then just for 2 energy, you can get this big boy Broly out by swapping into it. I like all this. I think I still might try like just the tricolor version, even though you don't get the card draw on the opposite side. I still think there's some. You don't necessarily need it. You do get a bunch of other card draw in cycle 2, but obviously missing out on a leader swing draw is kind of stinky. But you don't get it till like turn 4 anyways. By playing the deck how you're supposed to, and that turn you're already wanting to just play this Gogeta and going off. So I don't know. I think there's not like a terrible reason to not run that card. But I will say after playing this, you still want to just charge one of these black multicolors every turn. You don't get a lot of bonus from being able to awaken a turn earlier, because chances are you still just want to be able to use your use your unawakened side to keep drawing cards and finding cards that you need. But these are the two lists. Let me know what you guys think about it. Obviously, this is just more of an open-ended just discussion about the archetype and the cards in general. I think there's a lot that can happen, and I don't think there's just one way to play it. Obviously, there's like the standalone way, and it's almost like just an entire deck as well. And I didn't really talk about, like, I think a lot of people like this card, and it's great, but you have to get to turn 5, which is like just terrible, and there's no deflect, so you can just get it bounced back to your hand. This is the same thing, but it's only 4 energy, and it does more or less the same amount of damage. Because what this gets, I mean, this can just win on itself, right? I wish it had deflect though, but that's fine. That's fine. And that's really it. I'm not running this card because I'm already like over 50, so I don't want to do that. This card's kind of good, just because you can find it, and it's like a finishing edition. And there's also, I don't know how this card works, in the sense of the +1. I'll need an official ruling just to know if the cards like this guy, if it says when this card is in your hand is played or placed in your energy, if the in your hand part is part of your energy stuff. If we're going straight off the rule book, it's not. But I have a hunch that might be a translation error, so we'd need some official confirmation. Otherwise, like, this effect would be really good. So you can place X amount of cards from your energy to their owner's drops. If you do, place X cards from your drop area into your energy in rest mode. Sure, it's in rest mode, but then you get to proc all these effects, so you can do like this Bardock effect, and then you also get the untap because you got the if you swing with your leader first before that. I think all that's good. I think it could be strong. But I would need some confirmation that that's kind of how this works. And then you get a big double strike, 25k. That the next turn you can draw 3 cards, and what? I guess, yeah, because you put 4 markers on it. And then draw 3, this card gets plus 15k, and triple attack for the turn, your opponent can't activate counters. So that's kind of good. I don't know. That's it for me, though. Let me know what you guys think about this archetype, about this leader, and everything else with it. Send me your own deck list too, because I know there's probably a lot of ways to play it too, and I'd be interested in seeing it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.